Okay, America, we need to talk.
A Missouri man remains behind bars for now, even though a judge overturned his conviction.
This man is Christopher Dunn. He spent over 30 years incarcerated for a murder he didn't commit. Now, in 2020, a Missouri judge agreed with that. In fact, said that no jury would convict Christopher Dunn today, and he met the criteria for actual innocence. Yet, due to a weird ruling by the Missouri Supreme Court that only recognizes freestanding claims of actual innocence for people on death row, Christopher Dunn remained behind bars. On May 21st of this year, Christopher Dunn made it back into court, all thanks to the Missouri prosecuting attorney Gabe Gore, who petitioned the courts to overturn his conviction. This is the man whose job it is to put people behind bars, was on Christopher Dunn's side. Yet, there was a fight ahead because this man, the Attorney General, Andrew Bailey, was fighting to keep Chris in prison. After a 2-day hearing and weeks of consideration, the judge returns a 32-page document stating that yes, indeed, Christopher Dunn meets the criteria for his claims of actual innocence, and that, I quote, "The state of Missouri shall immediately discharge Christopher Dunn from its custody by 6 p.m. Now picture this. 1 hour before Christopher Dunn is set to be released, he's sitting in his nice suit, ready to walk out of those doors after over 30 years incarcerated for a murder he didn't commit. And he's told, "Sorry, Chris, you're going to have to go back to your cell." Because Andrew Bailey had petitioned the Supreme Court to block the judge's ruling, which means Christopher Dunn is still incarcerated.
Get back to our top story tonight. As we just told you moments ago, the Missouri Supreme Court has now blocked the release of Chris Dunn from prison after a successful appeal from Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. And
the question is, why does Andrew Bailey continue to keep fighting to keep innocent people behind bars? Because no, this isn't his first rodeo. Just last month, Sandra Hemme, 64 years old, the longest held wrongfully incarcerated woman known in the United States, was found innocent by a judge and set to be released, until Andrew Bailey set to block that motion. And she would stay incarcerated for another month until eventually she was finally released. In 2021, Kevin Strickland was released from prison with no help from Andrew Bailey after spending 48 years incarcerated for a crime he didn't commit. In 2023, Andrew Bailey opposed the release of Lamar Johnson, who spent 28 years in prison for murder. Thankfully, a judge overturned this and he was later freed. On July 18th of this year, Andrew Bailey and his office asked the Supreme Court to block a scheduled hearing for Marcellus Williams and deny him the opportunity to prove his innocence with new DNA evidence in his case. Thankfully, this was denied, and that evidentiary hearing will still go ahead. That man, Marcellus Williams, is scheduled to be killed by the state of Missouri on September 24th. The question again is, why does Mr. Bailey continue to fight to keep innocent people behind bars, and in the case of Marcellus Williams, fight to kill him? Well, according to the Associated Press, political scientists say that Bailey's efforts are a way to appear tough on crime. Because, yes, there's an election coming up, and he's trying to shore up some votes in what is going to be a tough primary race. The question is, America, should you be placing your lives in the hands of politicians? These people are supposed to be fighting for justice and what is right. Gabe Gore is. He's the prosecuting attorney, the man who is in charge of putting people behind bars. He is seeing an issue. He is fighting for people who are wrongfully incarcerated. Andrew Bailey is fighting for himself.